In Europe, a scooter is a kid's toy, but in the Congo, it allows people like Ahuma to earn a living. His ancient scooter is made of wood. Ahuma built it himself. And it allows him to be a transporter. My scooter can carry up to 500 kilos. I can carry several loads: manioc, cabbage, carrots, peanuts. Wait a minute. Your brakes don't work. You'll die for nothing. Risking his life on a daily basis brings in the equivalent of 100 euros a month, as much as a teacher would earn. On the other hand, his life hangs by a thread. I use this to brake, and I've soldered the handlebars. Loaded down with 4 100-kilo sacks, the tsukudu, as they call it in Congo, is hardly maneuverable. The secret is the ability to balance the merchandise and have the muscle power to push on through. You need to be strong, otherwise you can't drive a tsukudu. Ahuma delivers his cargo 20 kilometers down the road at Goma Market. At full throttle, he reaches speeds of up to 30 kilometers an hour. There are an estimated 5,000 scooters in the region, and in these parts, it's said a man who wants to get married needs a tsukudu. After 3 hours of alternating downhill and flat stretches, Ahuma reaches Goma. The large, bustling city of 400,000 is a commercial crossroads. Potatoes, corn, manioc, and every sort of crop from Kivu, the breadbasket of Congo, passes through Goma. At the Vatican Transport Company, the staff is trying to perform miracles. Sylvain, give me the box of machetes. 24 kilos. Anise, one of the drivers, is wondering how he'll manage the 12 tons of freight when his truck can only carry 10. Here's the freight. There are mattresses, clothes, motorbikes. The company director packs the merchandise into skips. His depot is full, and as his trucks seem to be always on the road, the rotations take far too long. You see all this stuff that's crammed into here? That's because of the roads. The depot is saturated. Well, when the roads used to be good, it would take 4 days to reach Kisangani. Nowadays, it can take up to a month. Tanzania, Burundi, and Rwanda all use Congo as a transit for their goods. Thousands of tons of freight travel along National Road 4, heading for Kisangani, where they're loaded onto boats for the capital, Kinshasa. National Road 4 is a 1,200-kilometer-long obstacle course. I pray to God every time that I arrive in one piece. It's a sticky bog through which hundreds of drivers struggle every day to advance just a few hundred meters. The road is a virtual open-air prison. I've been here for 4 days. If we don't do something now, the people of Kisangani will die of starvation. The Congo has been called a giant with clay feet. It's 4 times the size of Texas. Just 2% of its roads, though, are asphalted. Yet it's an immensely rich country. Gold, diamonds, and precious metals could have made it one of the wealthiest nations on earth, were it not for the ravages of 40 years of dictatorship and chaos. Anise's truck starts to resemble a skyscraper. With a tower of cargo, the truck will pitch and toss at every bump. Tighten the ropes. Its weight alone could tip the truck right over. We have to fasten everything because of the roads. If anything moves, the whole lot will tumble, and we'll never make it to Kisangani. To carry the extra 2 tons of weight, the mechanics try their best to reinforce the truck. We're replacing the suspension to deal with the awful road conditions. The strengthened suspension provides Anissé with some peace of mind. We're hopeful when we drive. We never know when we'll get there, but we'll fight our way through and make it. And fighting is the best way to describe how to tackle roads in the Congo. The 1,200 kilometers between Goma and Kisangani are an epic odyssey. As soon as you exit Goma, the road turns to track. Unexpectedly, after 250 kilometers, there's a stretch of 60 kilometers of proper surface, all too quickly left behind. That's the end of the Itcha road. From now on, it just gets worse. There are a lot of accidents on this road. I pray to God to give me strength to drive the truck and to protect us against all the perils of the road. The truck is struggling under its exceptional load. Good job I changed the suspension. Anissé is pleasantly surprised. Apart from one large hole, the road's been quite good, and he's making a steady 20 kilometers an hour. By day 4, he's closing in on Mambaza, a town that marks the halfway point of his journey. I should reach Mambaza by 8 p.m. at the latest, unless the truck breaks down. The next morning, his truck is acting up. I have to stop, there's something wrong in the back. I'll check, but I think I've broken down. It's the chassis split. 2 extra tons have taken their toll on the truck. Luckily, he's not transporting perishable food. Help would only show up 10 days later. Anissé is discouraged, yet he doesn't realize the breakdown has actually saved him from disaster. The road is about to claim another victim. Eric, aged 43, is an experienced driver. Let's go. The road network began to get worse at the same time Congo was granted independence from Belgium in the early 1960s. Eric remembers the days when National Road 4 was trouble-free. Before, problems like this rarely arose when the road network was good. When the road was in good condition, the going was good. Since it's impossible to know how long a journey might last, the drivers are paid per trip by the transport companies. Eric earns €200 for each return journey. Whatever I do earn, it's to feed my family, to send them to school. So now you see it's difficult for me. He can easily double his salary by taking passengers on board. He has 20 for this trip, and all of them paid the equivalent of $10 to get to Kisangani. It may be uncomfortable, but it's the best and cheapest way, according to the travelers. You can go by minibus, but it's more expensive. I prefer trucks to minibuses because trucks can deal with any kind of situation. A truck is more powerful. It can force its way through the worst of the mud. The only alternative to National Road 4 is to fly, but the tickets cost 20 times as much. A fortune. 70% of the population survives on less than €1 a day. God's will is always done. It must be his decision to make me poor. There are about 30 toll booths like this along the way. At each one, the fee is €4. The money is meant to be used to maintain the road, but it usually ends up in the pockets of the bureaucrats. Kilometre 380 is a perfect example of this kind of racket. The road here is little more than a swamp. Eventually, Eric has to ask his passengers to get off. It's too dangerous to stay on board, as the potholes cause the truck to shake violently the whole time. Here we have to stop to try and fix the hole that's in front of us. The bus is still there. The minibus has been stuck for about 5 hours. Come on, dig. This is where it starts to happen. This is where the small holes are. And there are some very old holes along the 300-kilometer stretch. Ahead is a truck that's got stuck inside a hole, and you can hardly see it anymore. It's the mother of all holes, and these are the grandchildren, the newborn. No one wants to spend the night out here. All the men, Eric included, lend a hand. You're not pushing hard enough. We'll never get through that, guys. There's no other help here, so we need to help ourselves. Article 15, it's literally about how best to make do and survive. And it's no joke. Back in the 60s, the province of South Kasai really did introduce an Article 15 into its constitution. Making do as best you can. It's what most Congolese have to do every day, and helping your neighbor is part of it. With God's help, I'll get through. It's Eric's turn to get stuck in. Without helping each other, I don't think there's any way we'd be able to make it on this road. In any case, this is the road from hell. Eric picks up his passengers again, but getting up onto the roof requires agility. Kivu province has been ravaged by war for more than 20 years. Rebels have been trying to get hold of its natural resources, such as gold. Some locals have taken advantage of the chaos to attack travelers. There are a lot of bandits here who stop the vehicles, then take the drivers or passengers hostage and demand ransoms for their freedom. You're not scared? Of course we're scared. But then you don't eat, and if you don't eat, then you become a bandit too. If you want to survive National Road 4, the unwritten rule is don't drive at night. But Eric has little choice but to break that rule, as there's no village in sight. At around midnight, he can finally switch off the engine. What's happening, Eric? Well, the road up ahead is dangerous, so I'm going to take a break here, where there's some houses. The nightmare begins. In such villages in the bush, there's no water or electricity, let alone hotels, so the passengers improvise a camp. A wood fire and some blankets will see them through the night. We're fine because we're used to this sort of thing. It's not the first time. They share what food they have. We eat just once a day, and I'm not hungry tonight. It really doesn't matter whether you eat or you don't eat. We're fine out here. Christian is an engineer by training, but after being out of work, he's turned his hand to the lumber trade between the Congo and Uganda. In any event, we salesmen are at the mercy of our own fate. There's nothing we can do about it. I quit university to make a few deals out here. But we can't because of the road. The road is our enemy, yes. That's right. A good night's sleep might come in handy as tomorrow a sea of mud is waiting for them. 800 kilometers away, Rubaya Masisi wakes up amid an infernal racket. Just 12 months earlier, this town was just a small village. Nowadays, thousands of Congolese throng its streets. There's plenty of work here. Providence is what's hidden inside these bags filled with earth. They're from the hills that overlook the town. Thousands of men are working deep underground, extracting coltan. It's a precious mineral used in all aspects of electronics, from computers, mobile phones, and satellites.
Asante mtakatifu Mungu Bwana wa majeshi. Nakushukuru Bwana kwa maana umekuwa mwema, umetuongoza.
Praise be to God Almighty for having protected me. I slept well and woke up in peace. It's now time to go to work.
Amen.
Amani used to be a teacher, but dreams of riches made him trade in his books for a pickaxe. Amani doesn't work on the surface. He's a miner, a creuseur, as they're called here. The others are porters. About a dozen of them fill the bags with coltan. The gallery is about 15 meters underground. The 40-degree heat is unbearable. Amani and his colleague work in 15-minute relays. I'm digging up a mixture of coltan and manganese.
Coltan na manganese.
I've been working here for about 3 years to earn money for my family back in Goma. I have a wife and 5 children, all at home. And some of the porters are children. You don't go to school? School? To afford school, I need to work. I'll work this year and go to school next year. What class are you in? Year 5. The mine belongs to a company that pays them on what they produce. How much do you earn? Well, it depends. If you dig up a lot of the minerals, you make a lot of money. If you produce little, then you earn nothing. He works 10 hours a day on average and makes 140 euros a month. A meager salary considering the risks involved. The rock easily crumbles. You see this block? When a good chunk breaks off, it could bury people alive. And just a few minutes later, a small landslide. But in May 2013, the mountain buried 47 workers. The dust makes me sneeze the whole time. The porters take the sacks of coltan to the river 4 times a day to be sifted. A 1.5 hour long descent with a load of 50 kilos. Most of those doing the sifting are kids, some as young as 8 years old. Mr. Crispin is in charge of this operation. Look, there are 2 minerals. The black one is coltan and the yellow is manganese. Manganese is one of the most common metals in the world. It's one of the components used to make steel and aluminium. To get the mineral, you need to filter it many times. The substance doesn't run off with the water. It just drains it off, like the dirt. I don't know what the coltan or manganese is used for. I know it's much in demand in the West, but I don't know what they do with it. Mr. Crispin sells the coltan for between 3 and 4 euros a kilo. Once refined, the metal will be worth 200 times more on the international market. Amani sees his family just once a year at Christmas. His entire life revolves around the mine and his dream of finding the motherlode of coltan.
Wakati niko hapa sasa, mimi nalala usiku.
For now, I plan to stay here until I find a rich vein that will make me enough money to be able to go back home and then be able to see my children and wife in Goma.
Nikipata kidogo sawa franga fulani, mimi narudia nikutane mwanamke Goma.
After a night under the stars, Eric, the driver, is back behind the wheel. There's still 400 kilometers to go to reach Kisangani. The journey will be an epic. The ground is damp, and with every passing truck, the ruts only become deeper. It's not good, this. They manage barely 10 kilometers an hour, and a driver coming in the opposite direction warns them of a bigger problem further on.
Danger hapa nyuma. Hapa mwai kuolosi hapa mbele hapa. Aya. Sawa basi.
He says it's simply awful, that there's no way through up ahead.
La route, il n'y a pas de passage.
Eric heads into the equatorial forest, which, even in the dry season, is incredibly humid. It's a trap for trucks. Eric stops as an enormous traffic jam has brought everything to a halt. About 50 vehicles are stuck. Eric is worried. It's a whole row of vehicles. How long will it take? Up to a week. This 45-ton truck is responsible for the jam. Its trailer has been stuck in the mud for 4 days. They've tried everything to extract it, but without success. The driver is obliged to offload some of his cargo. When there's a hole, you have to lighten the load. And then after that, another truck comes along, and that one tries to tow you out of the hole. Drivers and passengers come to help carry the dozens of bags of rice that weigh 100 kilos each. Some frustrated drivers try to force a way through. Get out of the way, you're blocking all these vehicles and they can't get through. The lighter four-wheel drive vehicle manages to get by, and the drivers of the other cars try to follow suit. The driver of the truck that's bogged down is furious. He'd been told back in Mombasa that the road was good. The supervisors told me the road was tarmacked. I'd even heard that on the radio. How are we meant to deliver our merchandise? What kind of government is there here? We've been here 4 days, sleeping here for 4 days. Everyone's stuck here. Hundreds of passengers pass the time the best they can. And most are fatalistic. We're here, it's tough for us. The wife doesn't eat much. We sleep out here like the monkeys in the forest. All this makes us wonder where this country is headed. What will happen to the Congo? We're hardly free here. It's like being in a prison. The truck coming from the opposite direction won't make things any easier. The jam is now total. As if by magic, a digger suddenly shows up. This could be the beginning of the end to the mess. It's from one of the many Chinese companies that have moved into the Congo. The government has awarded them construction and road building contracts. The locals, however, don't trust their quality of work. Chinese kick back a percentage to the government. They bribe the ministers and in return get the contract to rebuild the roads. But they know nothing about that. They're just here to pillage our mineral resources. The crane, however, proves remarkably effective. One car at full speed almost hits a pedestrian. Freeing the second truck is another matter. The mud is up to its chassis, and it will need to be lifted. It's a delicate maneuver, as the trailer could be ripped right off. Once it's sorted things out, the digger will try and fix the road. The workers have even called in a bulldozer to pack down the earth. The Congolese find it suspicious. So much hardware is uncommon out here. First cars start up again, but are soon forced to halt. And everyone soon understands they're going nowhere, as the road has been improved specifically to allow a convoy through. There are more vehicles behind, military vehicles. We have to wait, and then we'll try and get through ourselves. The military are headed for the areas around Goma in a major offensive against the rebels. The civilians look on as the newly refurbished surface is churned up by dozens of trucks and tanks. The Chinese workforce has disappeared, and faced with a new disaster, tempers flare.
Now
the people are angry. They're still stuck. If you stay there, you'll have problems. Move your truck. There's another free-for-all. Everyone wants to get on before conditions make the road impassable again. How long have we been here now? It's been at least 7 hours. And how far have you come? Well, since 7 this morning, we've done less than 3 kilometers. Come on, move instead of talking. Eric and his passengers will be stuck here for 3 days and nights, and their calvary doesn't end there. It will take them another 3 weeks to cover the remaining 400 kilometers to Kisangani. Making do is part of life in the Congo. Most people in the Kivu region have no electricity or gas. Instead, they use charcoal. Charcoal from this little village is known for its quality. Christian's family has been in the charcoal business for generations. This is where I buy the charcoal that I later sell in Goma. Come on, let's do a deal. 16 euros. 19 euros.
Ona.
No, that's too much.
Yako ni ngapi basi?
It's not worth more than 17.
16, 17. Bo, niko naangalia kama makala ni yangu.
It's the weight that makes it a good charcoal.
12,000, 13,000.
12,000, 13,000, 18,000. The equivalent of 15 euros.
Makala ni ya nani?
I'll take 2 bags like that one. Each bag weighs almost 100 kilos. Tying them up is an art. Once the package is made, it needs to be properly closed before putting it on the bike. That's why we've got all these rubber bands. Must be really tight because of the terrible roads. Tying up a package may be an art, but covering 300 kilometers on a bicycle is a science. The bags have to be very carefully balanced so they don't fall off mid-route. Okay, now we're ready to hit the road. Goma is 50 kilometers away. The first 10 are not that flat, so Christian needs an extra pair of hands. The youngster charges 80 cents for 2 hours pushing. You can go now. Thank you.
Bon. Ça, merci. Okay. Merci.
Managing 300 kilos on your own and with a pair of flip-flops as brakes is quite an achievement. Christian makes 3 or 4 trips a week that earn him about 120 euros a month. Charcoal is as good as diamonds to me. I can feed my family. Six hours later, and Christian makes it into Goma. The last 3 kilometers are the worst. Christian is exhausted. But one ambition keeps him going, that of buying a motorbike with his savings. It's really very hard going, it's tough, but I made it. When he buys his motorbike, he says he will quit the charcoal business and get into a much larger scale transportation. Trucks take about 1 month to shuttle between Goma and Kisangani. On National Road 4, the kings of the road are the bikers, who can make the journey in 1 week. The drawback is they can only carry so much, and it's recommended not to give them anything fragile. See, this is how we carry 30 kilos. Since I left Butembo, I've fallen over 100 times. With such a load, the only suitable place is on the petrol tank. The bikers always travel in a group, helping each other out when needed. Oh, it's not too deep. The motorbikes will get through this. The truck is the first in a long line of vehicles. The line is impressive. It stretches for over 2 kilometers. At least 400 trucks are parked alongside the road in both directions. This is kilometer 320. It's between the towns of Nyanya and Bafwazende. The motorcyclists are the only ones who can make their way through the huge swamp. This time, the trucks have been stuck for more than a week, and no one's going to come and help them. You see this hole? The water comes up from below the surface, and no one can get by. The shopkeepers are concerned. All the humidity is not good for their merchandise, especially the food stuff, which quickly goes bad in the back of the trucks. There's beans, there's onions. We'll have to throw those. Then it hits our incomes, and the authorities do nothing. This road has never been refurbished. What will we do? While we're here, we can't work. We're held to ransom by the military, by the police, by everybody. What can we do? How is it that in neighboring countries you can drive 800, even 1,000 kilometers in 2 days, but in the Congo, which is a rich country, where there's gold and diamonds everywhere, why are we left to rot on the roads? See? You see how many people are stuck here? What kind of life is this? Those trapped on the roads are left to fend for themselves. To make a good barbecue, using damp charcoal and exhaust pipe is essential. I'm really in a bad way. The only source of water is in the river. I'd like the government to fix this road. It's the main artery to the west of the country. If they don't do something now, then people in Kisangani will start dying of hunger. The trucks are a microcosm of the country's economy, stagnating as its road networks fall increasingly into ruin. one man is certain that things will improve, thanks to the hand of God.
Neno ya tatu nilikuya shukuru Mungu njiani. Tulikuya kutoka Nyakakoma. Bisi inabeba watu 12. Lakini ile bisi nilikuwa ndani fuso ikakuye.
I thank God that when we had an accident on a bus on National Road 4 and a truck loaded with 30 tons of goods hit us, we were sent flying to the other side of the road, yet I emerged without a scratch. Stories of miracles that have occurred on National Road 4 abound at the church of the so-called City of Refugees, where people, abandoned by their state, can find some solace. Pastor Jules welcomes them into his evangelical church. The preacher promises he will deliver the world from misery and disease, all caused by evil spirits, apparently. Jesus said, "In my name you will chase away the demons. You will heal the afflicted, and many with incurable illnesses will come here. And these people that do come here, they will be cured." We will chase the evil spirits out of the bodies of those that have come here. Open your mouth. Now, kiss your husband. Quick now. Now you will share passion. It's not magic, it's pure and simple. We look to the Bible and the hand of God that guides us. Amen. War, poverty, illness. The Congolese people face no end of suffering. Yet somehow it still cannot dampen their joyful exuberance.